Lime.
Soda with some lime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for the special occasion, I pulled out the good.
Ooh,
I only got that much left.
lush.
Shut up. You're so funny. All right, my friend, we so many people are excited about this. I mean, my phone was blowing up. They're like, "Yes, Chris Clark." I'm like, I know, right? I mean, it's just me. You see me every single freaking Wednesday, and you just pretty much want to know what my hair's doing.
Oh, there you go. I was like, can I see the comments? Oh, I can. Yay, this is fun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Denise is always my back of house girl, keeping everything going. And then they see, there she is. Denise says hello.
Denise.
But Blakely's like my
Blakely.
favorites. Hey baby. Hello. How are we? I can't read that far. Is it Dion?
Dion, yeah. Hey Dion.
Hey Dion. I'm putting my glasses on. Oh, that's much better. Much better. Monica says hello.
Denise, please don't drive and Facebook at the same time.
Okay, so like here's the thing. There's evidently some wicked traffic over Paulding County. Some power line came down and
really
something nasty went happening. And so yeah, please everyone be safe. Wine Wednesday can be recorded, y'all. So let's not be crazy. I'm super excited because Chris Clark is going to be joining us regularly for Chris's Corner. We can kind of think of this as the Oprah and the Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
It's opposite. I know you got to cut it.
And I like it. I rolled like Dr. Phil.
Isn't that so fun? Oh, hey, Sarah. Hey, friend. So I need to give an introduction, which is hard for me to give you an introduction, which is kind of bizarre. But we do have people on here who might not know the Chris Clark story. So why don't you just give us a little YOU info?
A little YOU? Where do I start? At birth?
What are you doing? How long you been doing it?
Well, I've been a realtor for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of production about 2 years ago and joined the leadership team at KW. And have always wanted to teach and always wanted to help people grow. So that's kind of the route direction I'm going in right now. Teach contracts, do compliance. I do a little bit of everything.
I mean, that right there is the most humble introduction I think I have ever heard from someone who is an absolute backbone and safety net for a lot of us.
I like that backbone.
It's true. You really are. I
love you guys. I love what I do. So
yeah, and it shows a whole bunch. I have had a lot of questions come in, and some of them are kind of hilarious. But the biggest thing that I think the thread was, and a lot of new agents, they want to know what's the difference? What's the difference between a new agent that makes it and doesn't make it? And we know the stats. The stats are ridiculous as far as
right.
How many people stay in this business and, actually can live on it.
Well, I think a lot of the issue is people get into the business thinking it's a lot easier than it is.
Yeah.
And I tell new agents that it's the hardest job I've ever had in my life, but also the funnest job I've ever had in my life at the same time. You've got to have a self-starting drive and an entrepreneurial thinking. It's not a job. You're building a business and you thrive. It's the only person that thrives is you from it. You're doing it all for yourself. So it's very empowering because no matter what you might work 80 hours a week, but it's for yourself, not for the man, not for the other person.
Yeah.
And that's what's rewarding about real estate. And then you have a beginning and you have an end, you reach a goal and you make people happy and you make people find the place they want to spend the rest of their life in. And that's very rewarding. It's a very rewarding job.
Right. I think that's perfect. And I think the biggest thing that you said there, Chris, was that you are doing this for you.
Right.
And if you're a new agent and you You can be a hobby agent. Absolutely. If that's
Oh,
what you want to do,
yeah.
a couple deals a year, awesome. But to level up,
Right.
exactly what you said, you have to really dig in and know that you're going to put in a lot of hours and you're not necessarily going to see the return on that right away.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
It's like building a building block by block at the same time. And
exactly.
you finally get the building built and it takes off, but it does take a little bit of time to get all those blocks in place.
100%.
Yep.
When you're talking to agents, like what would you say the most common question that your phone rings, you get a text, what's the thread? What's the usual?
From new agents or seasoned agents?
Let's do both.
Okay. Seasoned agents is usually a contract problem and they want advice on it.
Yeah.
New agents ask everything and everything, and I love it. um, I love that they feel comfortable calling me and asking me the question because I have the philosophy that there is no stupid questions, just stupid answers. So it's
100%.
never a stupid question if you honestly don't know. I'd rather people ask up front, let's get it taught first, than have to ask for forgiveness because they were scared to ask. So it's more of, I love being the resource for everybody. I love that agents that are in the business for as long time, like Laura Miller Edwards and Jill Van Neus, well, excuse me, Jill Littlepage,
Mhm.
um, come to me and talk to me about contracts and advice on what to do with the deal. It still impresses me that people come to me that because I don't think of myself as that. So, yeah.
That's really interesting, sweetheart, because what you're saying is you don't necessarily see yourself the way we do sometimes. I
No,
mean,
not at all.
oh, honey.
Very humble.
You are extremely humble because I couldn't imagine. Let's just call it. That's a lot of. You're a lot of the reason why people are in our office. I
And
mean,
that makes me happy and makes me teary at the same time that's yeah.
it's
So
true.
yeah, I
Um,
love loving on people.
and with your shirt that you wear, free hugs.
Yes, give more hugs. Everybody should have more hugs in life.
Give more hugs. You just have such a love, love, love heart. So good.
Sometimes you're having a bad day, all you need is a good hug and it changes the whole world.
It really does. Like your
Yes.
literal whole world.
Yes.
So from your real estate career
Yes.
into going into contracts and compliance,
Hmm.
what would you say your biggest pivot was in your mindset? Like when you saw a real difference in your business, what was a pivot for you? Like something that you did or
The pivot was really, when you do something forever and ever, and it seems like forever, and you get burnt out. I was kind of burnt out.
okay.
It was time to do something different in the industry because I love the industry, but it tires you out to be in the car every weekend
Yeah.
and you work 7 days a week. Everybody on here knows that. It gets tiring after a while. I started in the restaurant industry, and then I went into catering, then I went into retail, then I went into real estate. So I've never had a normal 8:30 to 5 job. So the pivot too was to make a normal schedule.
Yes.
8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. I have weekends off. I have 3-day weekends, which I've never had in my life.
Yeah.
Um, 2 4-day weekends at Christmas and New Year's. Like I've never had that in life. So the pivot was a little bit more lifestyle change and enjoying life a little bit more because I was a workaholic. And it's why I tell all new agents to make sure they make time for their families
Yeah.
and turn their phone off at dinner and concentrate on their families. And if somebody's got a soccer game or a football game or whatever, and you want to be there and somebody wants to see a house, you just have another appointment that night. Not that my kid has a soccer game. I just have another appointment and you have an appointment with your family. And I worked a little too hard in my 30s in real estate and forgot to live. And I don't want to see agents not live. I want them to thrive and live and not work constantly. And you can do that in this business.
All right, that right there, that is a huge impact statement, what you just said. Being able to make yourself, your people, and what gives you joy aside from real
Right.
estate and actually putting it in your calendar. And like you
Yes.
said, you don't have to say, I can't show you that house because I'm going to a soccer game, even though you can. I mean, that's valid.
Right.
But you have an appointment,
Right. With your family.
period. That's
Because
okay.
your kids are only 8 years old once.
Yeah.
And if you work 80 hours a week and you miss an entire year of school, you've missed out on a lot as a parent. So it's very important to understand that we chase the business constantly, but sometimes you got to stop running and just chill out.
And don't you find that some of those moments of chill really end up bringing you back 110 times better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there was a mastermind that we went to, and they talked about how much time off you actually need.
Right.
And it's calculated. I think they were saying something like once a month you should take, what was it? Every 3 months you should take an entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what it is, but specific days off. Like you would literally need to put your phone away and not do real estate for the day.
Right.
And it's okay to not do real estate for a day.
Right. The problem with real estate agents is they all tend to be overachievers. And it's hard for them to slow down. It's hard for them to go, oh, no, wait, got to back up. Wait, no, I have to take a break. No, but I really want to go over here. And it's like, it's not that you don't love your family and your friends and all that, but you're such an achiever and you love what you do. And sometimes you forget to step back and relax a little bit.
Yeah. And the whole notion of sharpening your axe when you're out there in front of people all the time. If you take a little bit of moment to not do that, and
Right.
you're sharpening your axe just in your own quiet, peaceful, or doing something fun, then you're going to come back 110 times stronger.
Exactly.
Super valuable.
Super valuable.
Super, super, super. So what other questions do y'all have? I saw some folks coming in with kind of some specifics about the market. I don't want to bore anybody about, there's a private board on the side. Sorry, you can't see that, Chris.
All right.
What are you feeling like currently happening? Has spring market sprung?
Well, I'll tell you, and Matt wasn't here today, so I told Gina and Julie, we have 38 closings on the books for next week at the end of the month. Wow. Well, let me step back for a minute. That's usually it's one day. That's usually the 31st has 38 closings. So yes, things have slowed up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But with that said, 23 of those opportunities and those closings are buyer side deals. So we have switched from a seller's market to a buyer's market. That is a key factor to me when I'm doing DAs and stuff, and it's all buyer side stuff. I'm seeing a lot of earnest money come in the last couple of weeks, so I know buyers are buying. And I've also seen from doing opportunities that price points have come down a lot. I'm seeing a lot of 150, 180, 250, 240. This seems like that market is opening up and starting to sell now because I don't know why, but it's kind of interesting to see the price points.
That let's unpack that for a second. When I've noticed the same thing, the 5, 6, 7s, 8s, 9s, those are sitting or just not available.
Mm-hmm.
Anything below 300 is hot.
Yes.
It's very hot. Multiple offers, kind of competitive in that department.
Yep.
I feel like that has a lot to do with perhaps first-time home buyers and also investors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lots of investors are enjoying this market right now.
Right. But I'm also seeing a lot of closing costs on contracts from $5,000 to $9,000 now versus last year. There was zero in every one of those blanks in every contract I looked at.
Truly.
And now we're coming off the price 4 or 5%. We're giving, sometimes 3 to 6% in closing costs. So it's definitely shifted, and it's definitely in the buyer's hands right now.
That's fascinating. Have you seen any interesting special steps in regards to buying down points, anything like that within the contracts? I know Blakely was talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
There's been a few, but I'll be honest with you, it seems like people are buying without the worry of the interest rate.
Oh.
I mean, I'm seeing some of those steps in the contracts, but not as much as I would expect. And remember, 20 years ago when I started, interest rates were at 7%.
Yeah.
So everybody's just been spoiled for a long time with interest rates, and it is a bummer for them to go up.
Yeah.
But 7% is really not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I mean, people have spent 21% on their mortgages at one point in time in history. So 7 is really not that bad. But what the problem is because prices got so inflated, it pushes a lot of people out of the market because of the interest rate.
Right.
So they might have been able to afford at 3%, they 3.25, 35, 4%, they might have been able to afford 400,000, but at 7% now they can only do 250.
Absolutely.
I
What's
don't
next?
think we'll ever see rates at 2.75. No, I agree with you, Matt. No.
I think that was free money. I really think that that was literally a gift. And I don't know that we should ever see that again. It wasn't necessarily real good for us.
Right. Like right now, I don't want to free finance my house because I'm at 3.75. So,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
no, Matt, we never will, Matt. No, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, 2.75. When they got that low, that was crazy. That was insane.
I totally agree. I'm also curious about the assumables. I would have expected to see more people digging into assumptions. Have you seen anything come across your desk as far as assumptions and people doing that route?
No, very rarely.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's because it's just too difficult to go through the process of an assumable, but I would think that some folks would be, jumping in on that. Oh, 2.75? Heck yeah, let me get it.
Right.
Yeah. Lauren says people have been spoiled with the last 2 years and the rates that we saw.
Yep.
We are normal now.
Mm-hmm.
Amen, my friend. And
Amen,
Chris,
Lauren.
let's talk a little bit about the retention of agents right now that things are a little bit more difficult. What are you seeing?
Well, typically, historically, in January, a lot of people tend to step out of the market if they haven't had a good year the year before.
Okay.
The last market was very difficult, and that's why I told all the new agents last year, if you can survive in this cutthroat buyer's market with buyers right now and get through this, you're going to be one of the most talented agents out there because you've written so many offers. I think we're going to see a lot of agents get out of the business in the sense that they can't list a house and have it fly off the market in 2 hours. So the ones that don't want to work actually in the industry and actually do their job and actually have to market houses and sell houses, they're going to drop out. They're not going to get as involved in it because they like that easy kill of, oh, it's a market where I can throw it on the market. It'll sell for 50 grand over and I don't have to do a thing.
Right.
And right. So I think we're going to see a drop off in agents like that as well. They're going to kind of back off, go back to their full-time jobs. They probably came out and did both for a while to make some extra money. But I still think I don't see the market as a problem right now. I see it as so very different that no one has seen in so long that people just don't know how to adapt to it. So as a new agent coming in, I tell them, you guys don't know the difference. So it's not gonna phase you. But somebody like me that's been doing it a long time, when you could get somebody approved at 400, 500 because of interest rates were so low and they're not now, what that's going to do is drive prices down a little bit in the market.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to negotiate harder.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing
No.
to have them come down a little bit. So I have seen an uptick in a lot of contingencies for sale to buy again. So there is people putting their houses on the market to buy something else. So I see the market as being a more, like Lauren Calfee said, more normal.
Yeah.
Where you can't throw a house on there just willy-nilly on the market. You might actually have to work to sell it. And I think agents are realizing that. And a lot of new agents that did some listings last year are realizing that hardcore. Like, oh my God, I got to make phone calls. I got to call agents and smooth and talk. And oh my God, I got to sell this house. See what I'm saying?
I need to do my open house every weekend. I need to make sure that I have my flyers. I need to door knock. I need to make sure the neighbors know what's happening. Like really digging in there.
Right.
And it might be something that someone's not used to, or that they haven't had to navigate that path before and they're not quite sure where to start. And that's what you're always there for. I mean, if you
Right.
have a house that's not selling and you give Chris a call, he's like, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you changed the pictures? Have you changed the description? What have you done? All super good. Matt says agents get into and out of the business directly in proportion to the amount of commission money available.
Yep.
Agents get a 40% raise. Oh yeah, last year agents got a 40% raise last year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good stats. That is good stats. Seeing Blakely says we are finally seeing seller contributions again.
Yep.
And I never understood before when I was doing investment properties for us personally, it was a standard that when you were selling a property, you knew that you were probably going to do, a closing cost. So whatever you were paying in commission, whatever, it just all worked out because you were going to do 3,000, 4,000 in closing costs.
Right.
And so when it went away, that's actually not normal. So now we're back to normal.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's also customary in Georgia for ASCA. A lot of states it's not. A lot of states don't have seller pay closing costs in their contracts. It's customary in Georgia to ask for it. But when I father bought in Florida, there was nothing about closing costs. You didn't even ask on those contracts down there. So our contracts are very specific and very good compared to a lot of states.
I noticed that working some deals in Colorado, Michigan, and Alabama, completely different setup. You're left reading a contract and having more questions than answers.
Right.
So I'm super personally appreciative of our GAR forms. It just helps. It just makes more sense. It leaves less to question or to potentially have a hang up over. Absolutely. I had a question come in about kick out. Okay. So we're seeing like we talked about, Chris, a lot of folks are saying, well, I have to sell my house in order to buy your house.
Right.
Will you accept my contract? And then they have what's called the kick out clause. Can you explain a kick out clause? And then in addition to that, someone mentioned that if you do a kick out clause, that means all of your contingencies can be kicked out, not just that one that you're referring to in regards to your home.
Well, first of all, a kick out is usually a 48-hour to 72-hour kick out. And what that means is if the seller gets another offer, they notify the current buyer that they're under contract with and say, hey, we've got another offer. We're going to accept it. You need to either move forward without your contingency, which meaning your sale or lease contingency. You're so cute. And remove that to move forward. So you're taking the risk as a buyer of your house possibly not closing because, let's remember we have people in the market not showing up at closings right now. So you're taking that risk. Now, on the form itself, when you remove the contingency, it says which ones are you removing.
Okay.
So you don't have to remove all of them, and I would never remove all of them. If they want the house bad enough, I would remove the sale or lease contingency for their house to sell, and they're taking the risk there. But I would never give up my financing and appraisal contingencies and due diligence and all that. You're still going through that process.
So that's something specifically on the forms that you can be very specific as far as to what you're willing to kick out.
Yes.
Fantastic. I hope that answered your question. That is awesome. Okay, good deal. And then as far as 2023 new contracts, what is the most significant change that you have seen?
Probably the biggest one is the VA exhibit. On page 3 now has a box to choose whether the buyer or seller is paying for the termite letter. They've changed their guidelines, so now the buyer can actually pay for their own termite letter, which before they couldn't pay for their own termite letter. So that's a significant change to agents that have been in the business a very long time, especially because I know everybody's going to miss that in compliance. So we've already been on the lookout for it. The other thing would probably be the questions on the seller's disclosure. There's different questions. Condominium disclosure specifically is asking if the building has been structurally inspected, anything like that. And yes, Matt. The big thing is anybody that's ever used a counter offer form will understand this. But we have dogs. When you fill out a counter offer form for an offer, you're only supposed to fill in what you're changing on the counter offer form, and that's where this NA comes into play. And I learned after 20 years of real estate, so when I tell you you keep learning even in real estate, even after 20 years, that you don't put NA in a contract because it stands for not applicable. So when you are submitting a counter offer and you're only changing maybe the sales price and closing costs, you leave everything else blank. And agents tended to put NA in there. Well, if you put NA in there, that technically removes it from the contract. It's not applicable. So it supersedes everything in the purchase and sale that you're countering for those fields. So don't put NA in any blanks in a contract from here on out. I can't believe it's taken me 20 years to learn that aspect, but no NAs. Should I put NA in a counter offers? Oh, I'm doing that, Matt. Yes, I mean, it's better to leave it blank to an extent than put NA in it. Now, what they recommended to us, Missy Robinson said to put NC in there. And that would be the better one. But my advice personally, as an agent, and the way I do counter offers, and this is opposite of what you're supposed to do, I fill in everything on the counter offer just so there is no lack of understanding of what the offer is. That's my personal preference. Now, you're not supposed to. You're only supposed to fill in what stuff you change. That was me as a personal preference as an agent. That way there's no gray area in my world. That's the way my brain works. I don't want a gray area.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know that talking on my team with those specific forms, sometimes it's hard to communicate with the co-agent because they're getting confused.
Right.
And then you end up spending time with ping-ponging back and forth, and you're like, well, no, and then you end up giving them a contract class and like you said, it's just easier to just fill it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like black and white. I don't like blank spaces.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. We're having a little show going on here tonight. Sorry, y'all. Harlow's feeling some kind of way over here. Okay, good deal. Good stuff. So for this year, for 2023, what would you say your personal goals are?
For me?
For you?
Honestly, learning more of the technology, Command, DocuSign, stuff like that, because I've never really had to, when all this has come out, I wasn't active in production. So the agent side of Command is not my strong point.
Okay.
So I'm trying to learn the agent side of Command, DocuSign, anything I can learn technology-wise to teach the agents. So when they come to me and they say, I have a question, I don't have to look at them and go, oh God, I've never done that. Right. So I'm trying to expand my educational base there with the technology for KW. That's my goal for this year.
Wow. Always a servant's heart. Listen to you. That's amazing.
That's what I do.
That it is. It's what you do. It's what you do. Let's see what Lauren says. Joni, that's a good recruiting technique. They acknowledge bringing them. Okay, so true. I mean, let's talk about that a second, my sweet friend over there, Lauren. I think something as agents that we forget is every single time we're talking to someone, they're an agent. We all have the same credentials, and we know at KW we're absolutely in the right spot, and we know why we're there. When you're talking to agents in a co-agent situation, it is okay for you to talk about this. Right. I mean, it's more than okay, because you're, again, with the servant's heart, you're both trying to get two people to the table for one wants to buy, one wants to sell, and ultimately you should all be working together harmoniously.
Exactly.
Ultimately.
It doesn't happen that way often, but
It doesn't always happen that way, but you always got to go high Always
Right.
got to go high. Um, it is amazing to me how many people have come over to KW based on those conversations, and then building your downline. And let's talk about that for a minute. Do you
Oh,
hear me?
Gina's on too. Hey, Gina.
Hi, Gina. Let's talk about downlines.
Okay.
Explain what they are.
Profit share downlines.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, bringing people on. You're talking to someone from EXP. They're on the other side. They're, you start talking to agents. They start getting in your ear, and you're like, "Well, you don't sound real happy over there. What's going on?"
Right. The more you recruit, the more you can build profit share. And the people you recruit underneath you, and then the people that they recruit underneath them, it's kind of a tree that keeps going. And every month you get a check with a little bit of profit share from the office. And that's why we do transmittal every month. Then why we push you guys to get contracts and all that in so the numbers are accurate. So we do profit share. And that's why we push to do that every month, especially. So I know agents that make anywhere from $600 to $700 a month to $2,500 a month to $10,000 a month, depending on how many agents they've recruited. Now, the people that make the big bucks started with KW when they first came to town. But it's still something that, yes, you can sell to other people, bring them in, and it's residual. It's every month, and it's willable to your family if you pass, and it's just income for doing nothing but recruiting people. Now, hopefully those people stay in real estate and produce and all that good stuff. You take that risk, but it can be a source of income that just comes every month and you don't have to stress over it.
Mailbox money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's deposited directly into your account. So
Easy.
yes.
Easy. For the new year, Chris,
Yes.
I ask everybody this. What's your one word for your reflection on the coming year? So like your New Year's resolution, in one word.
In one word. God, one word. That's hard.
It's a hard one. Yeah.
I think the word for 2023 should be awesome. It's going to be an awesome year for everybody.
I think so too. I think it's our office is beautiful. Our people are beautiful. Our staff is incredibly supportive. I mean, 2023 is absolutely going to be golden.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sarah, real quick. Yes, if they choose you as their sponsor, and that's how you get profit share. Sarah's asking.
Yeah. So yeah, you just have to make sure that they just say your name.
Yep.
And
that's what Gina and Julie and Lauren and I all take care of. We send out the sponsoring broker. Gina, tell me the BSA. We send that to them and they put on you as their sponsor. So that's something taken care of when they onboard.
Gina says profit share is real. Build your passive income by bringing agents into our office and we will help them with their business just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it.
Mama Gina.
Love it. Thank you. We got a couple. There we go. Binding sponsorship agreement.
Thank you, Gina.
This went by really quick. Like, holy crudle. Like, just wow. Thank you, sweet friend.
Oh, you're welcome, sweet friend. I love you.
So, same time next month, once a month, Chris's Corner.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait.
Next month, I'll come to your house. We can sit together.
Seriously, I can't wait. Yes. We'll sit together and then I'll show you. I mean, I actually need to do my Wine Wednesday at my bar because you did Wine Wednesday at your bar. That just makes sense. That just makes sense. All right, y'all. Let me leave you with Chris's phone number. And because, Chris, I have to tell you, the times that I have called you at wee hours and you have walked me through stuff, where'd your number go? Were invaluable to me. I even made Chris a tip jar because I was like, you helped me so much. And I went into Canva and made him a cute little tip jar and put it on his desk. And now that was, 2.5 years ago? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, has it been that long?
It has been that long. Isn't that fun?
Wow.
Good stuff. All right. Nothing
Good.
but love for you. Cheers.
Love you too, sweetie. Cheers.
See you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.